Today we continue introducing you to the fishermen of the Srednyokolimsky district. In previous episodes, we showed you burbot fishing on the Kolyma River and the seasonal pelled fishing done by fishermen from the village of Ebyach on Lakes Mirash and Ulach. And in this episode, we'll tell you about the special features and finer points of net fishing in the far north. End of our trip, at the invitation of Vasily Vasilyevich Yefimov, we head out to his unnamed lake. In the north, distances are measured in hundreds of kilometers, so a 30 or 40-kilometer trip is hardly considered far at all. The morning brings excellent weather, a mostly clear sky and bright sunshine. Our team's spirits are high, so we get to the base quickly, looking forward to some good fishing. Vasily greets us, already in a working mood. After discussing our plans over hot tea, we head out to fish. At our request, Vasily agreed to share his many years of experience, showing us firsthand how he sets the nets he uses for ice fishing. The work has begun. Konstantin Konstantinovich is preparing the ice hole for lowering the net. Despite his advanced age, he handles the work quite well. As with any kind of fishing, especially net fishing, the most important question is choosing the right spot to set them. For a good catch, the fisherman needs to know the depth, the shape of the lake bed, find the pits where fish gather, and get a feel for their migration routes. And use only nets permitted under fishing regulations.
Our ancestors. I remember from my own father, he always scolded me for being careless, for not following certain rules. And really, those rules existed and were meant to be followed. But we, as they say, are a somewhat looser generation, you could say. We don't know where that limit is, and without even realizing it, we scatter everything around, trample it. But in reality, all of this is supposed to stay, well, intact. So, you approach the ice hole, the whole procedure, of letting the net down needs to be done along this one path, not from every direction. Because of that, you disrupt, how should I put it, the fast freezing. It's what guarantees the ice freezes properly around the hole. So usually, if the net runs this way, you need to stand right here. That's it. On this side, you shouldn't. You mustn't let it out. You're only supposed to stand on one side, right? Right. Only on one side. And if this is the first hole, then for the second hole, you have to step onto that side instead. When you check the net, you inevitably end up crossing over to that side, but never beyond this line here.
In winter fishing, there have long been unwritten rules that many fishermen break, some out of ignorance, others because they forget the guidance passed down from their ancestors. In the north, the older generation keeps a close watch to make sure fishermen don't step onto the ice where the nets are set, and there's a solid reason behind this belief.
The space between the underside of the ice and the top of the net becomes more or less higher. And if you trample this side, you let this side freeze over. And that shortens it. But this safety margin, this goes back generations. That gap always stays a bit warmer, and it keeps the ice from freezing too fast. So this is something you always need to preserve. We don't preserve it because, well, we're used to doing everything our own way now. Our own way. If our fathers and grandfathers could come back from the other side, even just for a couple of minutes, they wouldn't just stop us from setting a net wrong. They wouldn't even let us leave the village. Because they'd know. They'd see that we're breaking these customs. But times change, as they say.
The people of Kolyma prepare thoroughly for the winter fishing season. Vasily laid out his nets to show us how they account for length, height, and mesh size for different fishing conditions.
There's a saying, prepare your sleigh in summer. That's the principle we follow. In summer, we check the body of water ahead of time, measure the terrain, and figure out how many floats and how much net length we'll need. All our nets have their length marked on them. For example, this float here has the number 18 meters written on it. During this autumn fishing period, when the ice hasn't yet reached 20 centimeters thick, we lower the nets down to this mark. And if the ice thickness reaches half a meter, we remove the floats.
Gear that's prepared and numbered in advance makes the whole process of setting the nets much simpler later on, especially in freezing cold and strong winds.
So I've brought the guide pole. A lot of ice buildup has formed under the snow. But that's no obstacle for us. It can get a lot worse than this. For someone who knows how to set nets properly, the guide pole never catches on anything or breaks. So you don't have to cut an extra hole along the whole length of the net a fisherman tries to make a long pole. For example, this pole here is 30 meters long. With a pole like this, you can set a net of any length. Last year, I cut some young, fresh larch trees. Over the summer, I dried them out evenly. This pole is made up of 7 sections, about 30 meters total. It doesn't catch on anything, doesn't get stuck, and most importantly, it travels in a straight line under the ice. The straighter the guide pole moves, the easier it is for the fishermen to work. In. Ice fishing, we use a tool like this one. It's shaped like the letter G. People call this tool different things. Some call it a hook, others just call it the G. On a river or stream, a different tool gets used instead of this one. But we, so as not to forget the traditional methods, try to make our fishing gear the old-fashioned way. The end of the shorter pole is shaped like a trapezoid, and it's inserted into a hole in the larger pole. And just to be safe, we secure it with a nail. In the old days, to keep the G-shaped hook straight and stop the poles from coming apart, people would reinforce the joint with rope. But as the ice gets thicker, that rope starts getting in the way. This modern little trick is very simple, but also very useful. So we lower the hook under the ice and use it to find the guide pole.
Vasily has felt out the guide channel and adjusts the pole to line it up with the direction of the next hole.
And this is the ochak. This unremarkable-looking tool, at first glance, works as a lever for moving the guide pole. The natural curve of the ochak helps the fisherman work. But underwater, it usually slips off the guide pole, so we nail pieces of an old Baran snowmobile variator belt onto the ochak. To keep the rubber from icing over, you have to keep the ochak underwater.
While the nets are set according to all the proper rules of Kolyma fishermen. Time to check the net Vasily set the day before.
Every year in autumn, we come to these lands, hoping for the blessings of our provider, Mother Ebe. We always share the fish we catch with our loved ones, those in need, and, of course, enjoy it ourselves. Wait, looks like there's something. Something's caught in the net. Oh, beautiful. Today is our lucky day. This is a shokur, also known as cheer. It got caught in a 55mm mesh net. Usually, a fish of this size is caught in a 70mm mesh. If a fish gets tangled in a net that matches its size perfectly, getting caught by the belly, it dies very quickly. But a fish caught by the gills can stay alive for another day or two. Because of this, it doesn't lose its nutritional value and stays perfectly fresh when frozen.
We are overjoyed even when we catch just a couple of these fish, because they are incredibly rich and nutritious. Fish meat is absolutely perfect for human health. It contains practically all the micronutrients that the human body needs, and for the entire population, whether it's a child, a man, a woman, or an elder. A fish-based diet is a natural source of vital vitamins. It boosts your strength, gives you energy, and overall is extremely beneficial.
There are more than 10,000 lakes across the district, large ones like Kalgan, Ulak, and Pavlon, as well as countless small unnamed lakes fed by channels from the Kolyma and Alizea rivers. Searching for new productive fishing spots, Vasily explores vast stretches of land, studying many lakes. By Kolyma standards, this new lake is small, but in terms of catch, you could call it promising. Since the lake had no name, Vasily suggested naming it after our own program, Hunting and Fishing in Yakutia. This simple, heartfelt gesture toward our film crew was, of course, unexpected, but very touching.
You've got to be like Jackie Chan out here, or you'll come away empty-handed. Our lakes are very sensitive. In lakes like this, a lot of predator fish show up early on. The more of them you catch, the fatter the other fish become the following year. And as long as there are more predators than there should be, you often find fish with scratches and wounds inflicted by pike. From the time fishing starts on lakes like this, after 2 or 3 years, the fish noticeably improve, become healthier. But after 3 years, you absolutely have to stop fishing that lake. You take a break exactly at the point when the fish are in their best condition. That's done so that the healthy fish can reproduce well. If you wait 2 or 3 years, you'll be able to fish that same lake for another decade without doing any harm. The fish population won't shrink. Reproduction will keep going. Otherwise, if you don't let the lake rest after those first 3 years, it starts getting depleted. And after that, life in that body of water never comes back. These numbers and this pattern have been proven by nature again and again.
Fishing with Vasily was a real learning experience for us. His tireless energy, endurance, and deep interest in traditional fishing methods command real respect. In the village of Svate, we met a local historian and honored education veteran, Inokenti Inokentievich Vinokurov. As a true northerner, a fisherman and hunter, he's raised generation after generation of Kolyma locals, instilling in them a love of hunting and fishing, and teaching them the traditions and customs of their people. In the old days, fishing depended heavily on the quality of the gear. Nets were woven from horsehair. Instead of sinkers, people used stones all of the same size.
My ancestors on my father's side were people who moved here from the upper Kolyma. During the migration, traveling on horseback and hauling all their belongings and livestock with them, they stopped at the Katinak crossing by a big lake. There was good feed for the horses there, suitable land, an ideal place to live. In autumn, they noticed something interesting. On the lake, in spots where the ice hadn't formed yet, the water was churning strongly. Looking closer, they realized it was fish. Seeing this, my ancestors quickly set about making nets out of horsetails. They were made exactly the same way. They were skilled, experienced people, so it only took them a single day to make one net. Making and attaching the sinkers took up a lot of time. The sinkers had to be the same size and weight. They tied them to the nets using plant roots. The floats were made from larch root. The cords were also woven from horsehair, and the bottom cord was noticeably thinner, so that if it snagged on the bottom, the net could break free.
And even today, the work started by Inokenti Inokentievich Vinokurov continues. On Lake Ulak, we met some school children along with their young PE teacher, Fyodor Fyodorovich Kolesov from the village of Ebyak.
Well, here we are. We checked the first net. During school break, we brought the kids out here to introduce them to the basics of traditional fishing. This is our first time doing this. I think starting next year, we'll be taking the whole class out for autumn fishing.
Of course, for the kids, this is an unforgettable experience. They watch the fishermen work with genuine interest, picking up on every secret and subtlety of ice fishing.
Did you come out fishing? In weather like this? Good for you. Children start ice fishing early on, going out with their fathers and brothers. And now our school has started working in this direction too.
Did you go fishing like this before?
Not me.
Me neither.
Yeah, I have.
I'm from Svartai myself, from the other end of the lake. We used to love fishing too, back when we were school kids.
Kids, sometimes the fish you catch has roe in it. And since a fisherman's busy all day, sometimes there's no time to even grab a bite. If I get really hungry, I'll take a fish with roe, press on its belly, and eat the roe right then and there. It fills you up fast, like you had a full meal.
We hope that later in life, as adults, they'll pass this love for such a demanding craft on to the next generation too. The spirits of nature were kind to us. The catch turned out excellent. The peld we got were prime specimens. Now there's no doubt about it. A new generation of Kolyma fishermen is growing up in the village of Ebyak. That evening, a surprise awaited us, the annual Balik Show Festival, to which we were invited as honored guests. The head of the settlement, Yuri Alexievich Gulyaev, greeted the residents of Ebyak with some parting words. Concert performances, master classes from local cooks, and a display of fishing gear made the celebration even better. But the most interesting part of the festival was the contest for the best dish. The women worked hard, preparing 87 different dishes from 4 kinds of fish. On the tables there was fried, steamed, stewed, salted fish, and plenty of other incredibly tasty fish dishes. We want to thank Konstantin Konstantinovich Lubyakin, the local administration, and the residents of the village of Ebyak for helping organize our filming in this remote Srednikolimsky land. We hope to come back to this beautiful region for a rafting trip down the Alazia River. And with that, dear viewers, we say goodbye. Farewell. Until we meet again.
До свидания, до новых встреч.